And we're back to learning CapCut. Let me show you a couple of things when it comes to slow motion effects. We have the simple clip of a dog running, and when he starts running faster we want to add a slow-mo maybe here. So find a spot where you want to start it, then use the split tool. B would be the shortkey for it. Left click on your clip in the timeline, then go to the end position where you want the slow-mo to end, maybe here. Left click again. When I use the select tool, I can now select 3 different clips right here in the timeline. I select the middle one because I want to apply the slow-mo here. I use the default layout, and then you can find the speed option. And the easiest way to add a slow-mo is to use the time slider right here. When you go up, you can see the clip gets shorter because it gets speed up. But if we go below 1.0, the clip gets longer. So this is the slow-mo effect. You have to go down with this slider. 0.5 makes it half the speed, and therefore the clip is 2 times as long. One thing to consider is at some point you can see right here it gets chopped up due to the frame rate. So if you go too low and you have, let's just say, a frame rate of 24 images per second, it doesn't look smooth anymore. In my case, 0.4, 0.5 is still somewhat okay. Another thing to add is this smooth slow-mo option. It's a one-click option. You have a drop-down for frame blending and optical flow. And it takes some time to process. Frame blending is fast processed, but the optical flow is a little bit smoother. So if you have that problem that your footage looks a little bit chopped up, you can try these options out and then make it a bit smoother. But from my experience, they also blur out your footage a little bit. You can see that when the processing has been finished. Let me roll the clip. And here the slow-mo starts. And you can see it blurs a little bit out. But from time to time it helps, so you may want to check that if you have that problem with the frame rate and you want to make a slow-mo smoother. Another option to add a slow-mo is to do it manually, and you can use the curves for that. We are still on the middle clip, and I can use customized, and by default it's set to 1.0, and then you can adjust the curve right here. So this curve is exactly our clip. On the left hand side is the start of the clip, and this is also the start of the curve. For example, if we flash it in, you can see it gets speed up at the start and then slows down at the middle. So this is what the curve does. And as we want to have a slow-mo effect, we want to drag it below 1.0. And such a curve is usually called a ramp up and then ramp down curve. It's not exactly what we want. But just to show you this, if we switch back to normal, the time slider has now been reset to 1.0. So whatever you do in the curves, it will reset the normal adjustments that you've done using the slider. Getting back to the curve, let me go to the extremes for start and end points, and then I go to 0.5 for the midsection. I'll play it again, and we're getting somewhere. But for a smooth slow-mo, we actually have to inverse our ramp. So we'll start on the left with a ramp down and end with the ramp up. And this is usually what you want to have when you create a slow-mo effect that should look smoother. Let me readjust these 2 points, these stops a little bit so that the ramping is faster. And if I play the clip now, we smooth in to the slow-mo effect and then smooth out, so that it's not that abrupt. If we want to do it manually, this is usually the curve that you need, and then just figure out the right values. So you may want to go lower than 0.5 or higher, it's up to you. And if you just want to have an easy effect, use the normal time slider and maybe test out the smooth slow-mo function right here. And this is how you can add a slow motion effect to your footage using CapCut. I hope this video was helpful, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.